Roger Corman is an icon of filmmaking, and his super low-budget, schlock-filled, over-the-top films have been a starting ground for many major actors. Sly is no different. Death Race 2000 is one of Sylvester Stallone's first movies. In a future where a deadly cross-country automobile race has become the nation's main sport, contestants are awarded points based on which pedestrians they mow down. Stallone plays one such racer, and one of the film's main antagonists, Machine Gun Joe. Death Race 2000 is a fun throwback to the classic Corman films, and it's about as 1970s as science fiction gets. Demolition Man is the perfect encapsulation of 90s Stallone. This action fest features the kind of performance we have come to expect from the actor, but with some fun send-ups of both 90s action films and of utopian futures. Sly plays John Spartan, a loose cannon cop nicknamed the Demolition Man, for good reasons. He is facing off against his arch-rival Simon Phoenix, played by Wesley Snipes in one of his best roles. Both cop and convict end up frozen and wake up in a future that has left violence and destruction behind. A truly funny and exciting film, Demolition Man is a classic when it comes to 90s action. Initially pitched as a gathering of cinema's biggest action heroes over the last 40 years, this film series followed an elite team of mercenaries dubbed the Expendables. While the first film was an admirable setup, the second film was the one to truly deliver on the promise of the series. Featuring Stallone, Schwarzenegger, Bruce Willis, Dolph Lundgren, Jason Statham, and Terry Crews, the sequel delivers more explosions, more gunfire, and even Chuck Norris. Out of all the Expendables films, 2 is the true highlight. After the success of Rocky, Stallone teamed up with venerated filmmaker Norman Jewison, and together they made F.I.S.T, a fictionalized story of unionized labor and a group of warehouse workers who fight for their rights. This was a very dramatic role for the young actor. Why not celebrate a hot labor summer with this tale of the working class fighting back? If you want Stallone's best action film of the 90s, look no further than his mountain climbing epic, Cliffhanger. This movie represents the height of Stallone being Stallone, and as a bonus feature, one of the best villain performances of all time by Jonathan Lithgow. Cliffhanger is the story of a mountain rescue worker who ends up hunted by violent criminals across a barren mountain pass. The movie features amazing stunt work, including a mid-air heist so good that Christopher Nolan stole it for The Dark Knight Rises. The confusingly named franchise has always brought the heat, but 2008's Rambo features some of the most over-the-top violence ever committed to film. The continuing story of the traumatized veteran, this film finds him living in Burma and agreeing to help rescue a group of missionaries caught by junta forces. Rambo is fun, violent, and would have been a great end for the series. Unfortunately, we got Rambo 5 though. Next to the classic first entry in the series, when people think about Rocky, they think about the fourth entry. The continuation of the story of the Italian stallion, this movie has him going up against the villainous Soviet Superman Ivan Drago. Featuring more montages per square inch and a killer James Brown song, Rocky IV has love, loss, and cinema's best stare down.
I must break you.
The other CG animated tale of Antz, released in 1998, Antz with a Z, is one of only 2 voice roles for Stallone on this list. Marking DreamWorks' first entry into the world of 3D animation, this movie is much darker than its Pixar competition. The story of a Woody Allen-voiced worker ant who starts a revolution, Stallone plays Corporal Weaver, the strong and tough soldier ant who sparks an unlikely friendship with Allen's worker ant. Magic rarely strikes twice, but Creed 2 is proof that it sometimes does. One of the latest entries in the saga of the aging boxer and his protege, Creed 2 deals with a lot in the franchise's history. After his successful debut in the first film, Adonis Creed now has to face the son of the man who killed his father in the ring. Featuring the return of Ivan Drago, Creed 2 continues the thread started way back in Rocky IV, and also features, as of now, Stallone's final performance as the Italian stallion. The Suicide Squad is the second entry in the story of Task Force X. They are a team of incarcerated supervillains who are sent on seedy wet work missions for the US government. Stallone plays King Shark, aka Nanaue. He's not too bright. Stallone gives a performance that is both hysterical and also endearing. He makes you actually feel sad for this 8-foot tall man shark that eats people. Escape to Victory is the story of a group of prisoners of war during World War II. They are being held by German forces in a POW camp and are planning their escape. They find the opportunity when an exhibition soccer match is scheduled between the POWs and a German team. Starring many actual footballers of the time, this is an exciting story about hope and the quest for freedom. The Rocky saga now finds the old ex-boxer handing the franchise off to a much younger Michael B. Jordan. Adonis Creed is the son of the late Apollo Creed, and he's looking to make his name in the sport. Traveling to Philadelphia, he meets the aging boxer, who is fighting his own battle with cancer. The Rocky series has always been about beating the odds and forging your own destiny, and Creed is a worthy entry in the series. Stallone took a turn back to the dramatic in the late 90s with Copland. The actor wanted to play someone different from his usual muscle-bound heroes. In Copland, he plays the local sheriff of a small New Jersey town that is nicknamed Copland. New York City cops all bought property cheap there, and most of the residents are in law enforcement. And most are pretty corrupt as well. Stallone gained a lot of weight to play the regret-filled sheriff, who is a far sadder and quieter character than the actor usually plays. If all you know about John Rambo is his love of turning bad guys into red mist, you may have missed the first film. First Blood is the premier entry in the franchise, and stands out as a far different movie from its sequels. This movie introduces us to the veteran as he makes his way to a small town looking for a former friend of his. Along the way, he runs into a local sheriff who doesn't take too kindly to Rambo's type. What follows is a story of PTSD, trauma, those left behind after Vietnam, and a cautionary tale about what we owe to our veterans. The movie that made Stallone into a star. Rocky is the timeless story of dedication, love, and going the distance. Stallone wrote and stars in this tale of a Philly nobody who gets a shot at the title belt. A working class fairy tale, Rocky Balboa captured audiences' hearts with his charming flirtations and relentless meat punching. Rocky was a breakout independent film at the time, and spawned a franchise that continues to this very day with the Creed series.